Well, it's another exciting episode of the JoshCast. Hopefully exciting for you. Am I feeling excited? I'm feeling a bit gassy. I had 2 cookies today already. 2 chocolate toffee marshmallow cookies from Romancing the Bean, which is a great little cafe on Magnolia Boulevard. They're not sponsoring me for the podcast, but they should. Romancing the Bean, where you go to get good food. That's not their slogan. They now I feel like I'd have to pay them for a slogan that's a terrible slogan. Romancing the Bean. There's coffee and food and things that you can come and eat and sit and talk to people who are your friends or significant others. Romancing the Bean. That's the worst commercial ever done. All right. So I read this article earlier this week about how I believe archaeologists have uncovered I think a famous idol from ancient Aztec times. So apparently, this was, I believe, a symbol of one of the gods that the Aztecs worshipped. And the way that they worshipped this god was the Aztec would sacrifice a human being, skin the human being, and then wear the skin. And if they did this, it would increase the fertility of the tribe. There's a lot there. There's a lot there that's happening. First of all, I feel like a lot of events, both bizarre and wondrous, had to transpire for the Aztecs to arrive at this conclusion about how the universe works. So first of all, you know what? Let's just take it on face value. Let's just say that they're right and that an Aztec god came to them and said, listen, folks, hi, sorry to barge in. Listen, I need something, you need something. You need to have babies. Cool, great, I'm not judging. And I need you to wear the skin of other human beings. Now, I know what you're thinking. Man, that's going to be a mess. And I recognize that. I wish there were a simpler way to do this. I really do. But let's just, I don't want to go into detail about why I need you to wear human skin. You don't need to know that. That's, and plausible deniability. Just in case there's ever a trial, you can just say, we were just told to do this, and there won't be any mitigating circumstances. So, skin some sacrifices, wear the skin, and boom, you've got yourself some babies. Cool. I'm trying to figure out, but still though, what racks my brain is how does wearing human skin help this god of fertility? Because it almost sounds to me like that's what gives the god power. Like if the god's walking around and he runs into another god and the other god says, man, you're looking awful, what's going on? And the god says, I'm low energy. I mean, they only are wearing the skin of one human right now. Can you believe it? All the begging and pleading on my part that they've only sacrificed one human. I can barely walk. Oh, that's terrible. I know it's terrible. It's just god awful. I don't think I'm going to be able to do the 5K. I like to imagine that all the gods, I guess, live in a city of gods where they have 5K runs. I'm not sure what the cause is that they run, whether the gods run for. Maybe one of the other gods has a GoFundMe. At any rate, that's how that god works. Now, I was also reading that the Hebrew god, by the time we get to the Hebrew god, human sacrifice, I think, had been outlawed, and they were only down to sacrificing animals. So maybe where the Hebrew god is concerned, that's synonymous with the Hebrew god was like the electric car of gods. We don't need to sacrifice humans. We can, or maybe it's more like a hybrid. You don't need to sacrifice humans, just a couple of goats, and I can run for about 100 miles before I need you to sacrifice some more goats. So maybe that's how that works. I'm not sure. So we've given them the benefit of the doubt. Now, and you know what? For all we know, maybe it does increase fertility. Maybe all these fertility drugs and all this artificial insemination, all you need to do is just kill Bob, wear Bob for a while, and boom, you've got yourself some twins. I don't know. I don't want to be the one to try, I'll tell you that. Because aside from the fact that I don't want to murder, I find myself knocking on wood when I say I don't want to murder. Isn't that weird? Because I'm afraid that suddenly I'm going to want to murder. I don't want to. Aside from the fact that I don't want to murder, I also don't want to wear the skin of somebody else. That's well, you know what? Let's examine that. Would I not want to wear the skin? I guess it depends on who I'm wearing. I'd wear Roy Scheider's skin. Wow, I can't believe I just went there. Why would I want to wear Roy Scheider's skin? Because he was rugged. And no matter what I do, I'm never going to be rugged. But if I could pass as Roy Scheider, that'd be kind of cool. He had like a rugged, like a leathery skin. I'd wear that. This podcast has taken a turn for the bizarre, hasn't it? If not already. So probably the more rational, if I dare say rational assumption here is that probably what really happened is that I think the Aztecs maybe just wanted an excuse to kill people and wear their skin, and then when somebody questioned it, they were like, you did fertility? Yeah, fertility. God told us, fertility. And back then it wasn't questioned, I guess, because you probably do not want to question someone who is wearing human skin. You don't question it. You don't be sarcastic with somebody who is wearing human skin. If somebody's wearing human skin, you smile and nod, and off you go. Some alternate theories about why fertility was increased. If the religious ritual involved wearing human skin, I can't help but wonder if more and more Aztecs over time skipped the religious services altogether and used that time to make babies. That could be a possibility. I was also reading that another reason why they wore human skin was to intimidate enemies. That makes sense to me. Wearing human skin, that would intimidate enemies. And maybe they was so good at intimidating enemies, instead of going to war, they had more time to make babies. I feel like that could be closer to the reality of the situation. So let's say then that you've got somebody, because what? So I see there's two. This happened one of two ways. Way number one is that they were low on babies, and they said we got to come up with something. And somehow, somewhere, someone threw out the suggestion of wearing human skin, and they tried it, and it seemed to work. Or the other possibility, I guess, is that they were wearing human skin and they noticed, hey, we've got like 19 more kids than usual. It must be this skin wearing thing. But that's what happens with cause and effect when you don't really examine cause and effect. It's easy to make those kind of leaps. It really is. And maybe people bought into it. That's it, because I think about, if I dare be controversial, people who don't believe in climate change when we're looking at our world today, and but the scientists say that climate change is a thing, and people still don't believe it. And it's fascinating to really examine what people believe and what they don't believe. I mean, when I was 4, I believed that this kid at school was a robot, because he told me he was a robot, and then he said, if you push my tummy, I shut off, and I pushed his tummy, and he appeared to shut off, and then I pushed his tummy again, and then he turned back on, and I was convinced that he was a robot. And my mom said, no, he's not a robot, and I didn't totally go with her on it. I thought, all right, well, you know what? You want to, what do you know, Mom? That was my reaction, and I realized that that most people don't really pass 4 years old. 4 years old is where a lot of us stop. Entire civilizations, frankly. Did the Aztecs keep the skin coats? Was there a closet full of them? And were there times, did they have to wear a new skin coat every time they did the ritual? Or during the ritual, could they say, it's a little cold outside, give me the Timothy. Give me my Timothy. There we go. I'll just wear this is just a casual sacrifice. We don't need to actually go through the whole process. Give me Samantha. I'll wear Samantha. That's good enough for now. That's fine. Now, let's say you're a priest. You got to wear human skin. I'm wondering if when they're choosing the people that they're going to sacrifice, if certain attention needs to be paid to the measurements. And if the priest is saying, all right, well, we need to sacrifice somebody, make sure they're a 32-32 this time, because I don't want to be tripping all over the pant, all right? 32-32, not a 32-35, please. Not like the last one. Okay? We don't have time. We don't have it in the budget to get somebody to hem the skin pants. Okay? So let's just be a little cognizant of who we're sacrificing here so I don't look like an idiot. That's the last thing I want to do, is look like an idiot when I'm wearing Jimmy. I'm impressed that I was able to talk about this for 11 minutes. I don't know how impressed you are. We'll find out by the stats at the end of the podcast, but I don't mean the stats at the end of after the podcast, I look at the stats. I've been looking at the stats. Up to 8 downloads. Apparently, a few of one or two of them is in England, which is awesome. I don't know if you're in England and you're downloading this. Thank you. I appreciate it. I hope all is well. I hope you're enjoying the Brexit as much as we're enjoying everything that's going on here. My luck, the one guy or woman who's downloading in England is pro-Brexit, and now I've just alienated. Now I'm down to 7 people. Perfect. Well, that was fun, and I'll talk to you next week.